Hi everyone, welcome to YouTube classes. It's Divya here with class 10 physics. Today in our class we will be starting with your chapter 7 sound. Now this chapter is going to be very easy. This chapter actually has nothing new in this. All what you have learned about sound till your 9th standard from your smaller classes, it has all been concluded as one chapter in your 10th standard. Now let us start with the definition of sound. Now in your smaller classes you have learned that sound is also a form of energy. It is being produced due to vibration of particles, and the third point you have learned it in your smaller classes was that sound needs a medium to travel, right? So all these three we are going to coin it into the definition of sound. That is, sound is a wave created by vibrating of objects propagated through a medium from one location to another. Clear? Now when you talk about the definition of sound, as I told you already, 3 points you have to remember. Sound is a form of energy, that is the first point. Now sound is caused by the vibration of particles or object. Now the third point you have to remember is sound always need a material medium to travel, especially like water or air. The speed of sound will be different in different media, but make sure sound always need a medium to travel. That is why the speed of sound in vacuum is going to be 0. We know that sound is an energy that causes the sensation of hearing, isn't it? Now from that we have to know the audible range of sound for human beings. For humans and different animals it will be different. For human beings the audible frequency range will be from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, and this audible frequency range you call it as sonic range. Okay, we have seen what is the audible frequency range for human beings. Now 20 hertz is going to be the lower limit of human range, and 20,000 hertz is going to be the higher limit of the human audible range. Now sound waves having frequencies above 20,000 hertz you call it as ultrasonic waves. Okay, and these ultrasonic waves are being especially used by bat, dolphins and in submarines. And one which is below 20 hertz you call it as infrasonic waves. And these infrasonic waves are generally being used by rhinoceros, elephants and whales for communicating with each other. Now let us come to the characteristics of wave. Now when you talk about the characteristics of wave, first thing what you have to know is what is crest and what is trough. Crest and trough are the highest and the lowest point of a wave. Now if you could see this figure, you can see that crest and trough here. See, this is the highest point here, isn't it? This is your crest and this is the lowest point which you call it as trough. Now the next important characteristic of a wave is amplitude, and it is the maximum displacement of a vibrating particle from either of the mean position or the normal position. Now if this is going to be the rest position, from here the maximum displacement of the wave you call it as amplitude. Next is wavelength. Wavelength, it is a distance between adjacent crest or trough. Now wavelength, this is two adjacent crest, and the distance between the two adjacent crest or the distance between two adjacent trough you call it as wavelength. Next characteristic of a wave is frequency. It is the number of waves that pass through a particular point in 1 second. Okay, if you are going to consider a particular point somewhere here, the number of waves that you see, these waves will be going on like this, isn't it? Continuously. When you talk, the vibrations will be going on and on. So if you consider a particular point in 1 second, how many waves are passing through that particular point, you call it as the frequency, and it is going to be denoted with the letter nu. Next is time period. Time period, as you have already learned in your smaller classes, it is the time required for one complete oscillation or one complete vibration. When you talk about one complete vibration, as you are learning in your simple pendulum oscillation, one complete vibration means one crest and one trough together is going to form one vibration. Okay. When you talk about the characteristics of wave, all the characteristics you have seen now. Now if V is going to be the velocity of the wave and lambda is going to be the wavelength of the wave, and frequency, if you are going to write it as F. Sometime you can see frequency as nu also. Both are the notations generally used for denoting frequency. You are having, and T is the time period. You are having two relations you have to learn, that is velocity V is equal to F lambda. That is the one equation you are going to have, and the second equation you have to learn for frequency, that is frequency is 1 upon time period. So no derivation at all, you need to remember only these two equations which with you can expect your numericals. Now we have seen sound as a wave. Now usually waves, it is divided into mechanical waves and electromagnetic waves. Okay, generally waves. Now this mechanical waves is one which requires a medium, and electromagnetic waves, they do not require a medium. Now for you in detail you have to learn this mechanical waves in this chapter. Already electromagnetic waves and spectrum you have covered it in your 6th chapter. Now coming to this mechanical waves, it is again divided into longitudinal waves and transverse waves. Now longitudinal waves generally include your sound wave, and transverse waves usually includes your water waves. Water waves means, for example, I'll tell you one example how waves are formed in your water. You take some water in a big container and let it be there for some time, it will come to rest. Now you put a stone at the center, you can see whirls like this around your water moving round, isn't it? So that is only your water waves. Let us see what are longitudinal waves and what are transverse waves. Now longitudinal waves means the particles movement will be in parallel to that of the propagation of wave itself. Example is your sound wave. Okay. Longitudinal waves means those waves in which each particle's movement will be along the direction of propagation of wave itself, or you can say parallel to the propagation of wave. Now when you come to transverse wave, instead of parallel it will be perpendicular. That is what is in your water waves. Okay. Or in short, what you can see, if the vibrations of the particles are along the direction of propagation of wave, they will form compressions and rarefactions, isn't it? So such waves you call it as longitudinal wave, and those particles, if the movement of particles are perpendicular to the direction of propagation, it will be forming such as a crest and trough. Such you call it as transverse waves. Okay. Now you have equations for your longitudinal wave and transverse wave. Only equations, no need to go for derivations. Now for longitudinal wave in gas, you are having the equation, the speed of longitudinal waves or sound waves, you are having it as V is equal to square root of gamma P upon D, where gamma is the ratio of specific heat. This specific heat you have already learned it in your smaller classes. In detail you will learn what is specific heat in your chapter calorimetry 11th chapter. Okay. Now second equation what you are having for your transverse waves is that velocity V of sound is equal to square root of T by M, where T is going to be the tension on the string and M is going to be the mass. Now if you go for a comparison between your light waves and your sound waves, light waves, they are electromagnetic waves I have already told you, and sound waves comes under mechanical waves. Now light waves, they can travel in vacuum, which means that they do not need a material medium for propagation. But sound waves, since they need a medium for propagation, it cannot travel in vacuum, or speed of sound waves in vacuum will be 0. Now light waves, the speed is going to be the maximum 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second in air, and the speed of sound waves is going to be very low in air. You will be having only 330 meter per second. Now when you come to the wavelength of light waves, it is visible, isn't it? So the sun rays you can see, that is of light waves, it is around 10 raised to minus 6 meters, somewhat you can see, but the wavelength of sound waves is going to be very less, 10 raised to minus 2 meter. That is why you are not able to see the sound waves. Now when you have learned about the types of mechanical waves itself, I told you light waves, they are transverse, whereas sound waves, they are longitudinal waves. Light waves, these transverse waves, water waves, light waves will be trans waves, but sound wave, it is going to be a longitudinal wave. Now with this, I am going to winding up today's portion. You can read your textbook properly. Start with your exercises at the back for section 8 till this portion. And if you have any doubt, you can put it on the comment box. With this, we are winding up today's portion. Thank you. Stay safe.